Okay, let's go through a TV guide from February 18 of 1978. How it doesn't get any more 70s than this. Look at this, Charlie's Angels on the cover. We got Cheryl Ladd. So we're after the Farrah Fawcett era. Let's go ahead and get into this. Did the media get Burt Lance? Who knows? Awesome Camaro from the 70s. Not to be confused with the Firebird, although they basically were the same kind of car, I think. General Motors. Got our smokes ad. Now we're cooking. If you haven't seen my videos, we go through this, see what's going on. It's a snapshot into the time. We always learn something new. There's great ads in here to give us a little more context and detail to bring us back. I'm always surprised that the Betamax and these VCRs were out in the late 70s. I always think of those as an 80s phenomenon. But I guess if you had a lot of money, you could have got one in the late 70s and watched it on your 17-inch TV. Some dude that nobody cares about. Modern convenience of a dishwasher in 1978. Look how cool this guy is. He wrote a whole essay about smoking. Look at it. He says, my dilemma was how to find a cigarette that could give me the taste without high tar. We're having fun here, folks. We're kind of being tongue-in-cheek, but it's all in fun. It's a trippy-looking picture here. Usually these articles have something to do with some show, program, movie, or something that's coming on that week. So if we read through this, we'd probably see how this relates. Barry Manilow writing some music. Got his chin on his hand there. About as big as it gets was Barry Manilow in the 70s. You had Barry Manilow, you had Neil Diamond. What can I say? She's looking cool in her swimsuit, in her Silva Thin cigarettes, with or without menthol. If you're not craving for a cigarette, you will be by the time we get through this TV guide. All right. Yeah, some of these articles are snoozers for sure, but sometimes they have some fun articles with stars or something that's going on during that time that's interesting. Here's a guy who wrote in, Donald, he wrote in to the letters column of the TV guide to talk about robots. He was on the cutting edge of things. Look at this guy. Yeah, so this might be a show that's coming on, yeah, coming on PBS this week. So it's sponsored by McDonald's, but Lorna Doane, Courageous Love Story. And we might see another ad for this and see who's going to be in it. Because sometimes you might see this movie, it might look kind of cheesy, but then they have some interesting stars that are actually in it. Okay, so it looks like this one that I've got here is from the West Virginia area. Not that it matters too much, but there will be some regional stuff that is hard to pick out without knowing. But during this time, very few channels, as you can see. But They also had like regional shows. I guess they still have that to some extent, but back then they had a little bit more regional and, of course, all the national stuff. Saturday morning in 1978, Hong Kong Phooey, Super Friends, Three Robonic Stooges. We need to look that one up. I always forget these by the time I'm done filming these, so you guys have to look that up for me. Three Robonic Stooges. I'm assuming it's the Three Stooges. Maybe they're robots. Sounds kind of insane, but it's a cartoon from '78. We got a children's show called Wacko with Robert Goulet. Have no idea what that is, but it sounds funny. We got Baggy Pants and the Nitwits. I don't know what's going on here, but we got some funny titles going on here this morning. Let's see what else. You know, we got the ones we know. Speed Buggy, Go-Go Globetrotters, Laugh Olympics. But you know, if you get tired of those, you can watch Baggy Pants and the Nitwits. Or Space Sentinels. I bet some of these are cool, just even to look up the intros or whatever. I do remember Secrets of ISIS. I think there was even an ISIS superhero show, live action briefly in the 70s. Land of the Lost. Thunder, a children's show called Thunder. I don't recognize the names. Let's see who's on American Bandstand in '78. Aretha Franklin. Jean Cotton. I do not know Jean Cotton, but everybody knows the Queen of Soul. One of the best to ever do it. Who's on Soul Train? LTD. Michael Henderson. It's almost like they went with a big star and then one you hadn't heard of back then, which is kind of weird because there were so many great music acts back then. They could certainly pack those shows. You see my other videos, I don't linger too long on like Saturday afternoon because it's going to be old westerns, it's going to be old movies, an old Tarzan movie. We got some college basketball going on in February. A lot of college basketball, actually. If you're not familiar, the Wild Wild World of Sports was fun. It kind of gave you some highlights from several different sports, all in like a couple hour show or whatever. Before ESPN, that was very important to have. So they're covering some Daytona races, 70-meter ski jumping championship. See, this is fun. If you weren't a hardcore sports fan, you could probably sit down and watch that and catch some sports. Check out these police scanners. Save up to $50. Man, they must have been pretty expensive. Chinese panels reproduced for your home. Okay, Saturday evening, it's getting good here. We got Hee Haw. This is the 70s, folks. Hee Haw was a great show for everybody, not just for country and western fans. We got some show called Horses. We got the Bionic Woman. Come on. Everybody loved Lindsay Wagner. Everybody still loves her. She could pick you up and throw you across the room. Does anybody remember how she got her powers? We remember that Steve Austin was in crashed his experimental jet, but how does she get her powers? Just seeing who the guest stars are. Nobody that rings a bell. What's Happening was a great show. Check out Ernest Borgnine. He's here, he's over here. Based on a true story, it says. Interesting. Crash and supernatural aftermath. I'm kind of intrigued now. Ghost Flight of 401. Got Jazz Festival, Operation Petticoat. Maybe that's related to like Petticoat Junction, I don't know. Tony Randall's got his own show, which is kind of hard to believe. That's another reason we go through these. Look at these great ads. We know the Love Boat, but it's even showing us who's going to be on that week. And then, of course, Love Boat, Fantasy Island, they kind of went hand in hand in the 70s. And they had guest stars every week, too, which was fun. So very similar. Great timeless shows. Maude. Maude was not a show I ever watched, but it was pretty popular. And you got B. Arthur and Rue McClanahan, so you got, okay, but you got two of the Golden Girls on there. This is interesting. It's a little bit of a deep cut, but Lauren Tews was the girl on Love Boat. She was like the organizer lady on the Love Boat, and it looks like she's guest starring on Fantasy Island as well. Kojak was a good show. Kind of a hard edge to it. Kojak was always saying one-liners and stuff. Probably kind of underappreciated now. It was, it was popular back then, but the little extra hard edge it had, I think it kind of holds up better than a lot. So we got a show called Soundstage, which I'm not familiar with, but they got Melissa Manchester and Al Jarreau, so that's a great 1-2 right there. Nashville on the Road might have been a regional thing, or maybe not. I'm not sure. Got some show coming on at 11 called Goodies. I have no idea what that is. Got some late night college basketball, and I never quite know what to make of this. Looking back at these old TV guides, would they replay something late at night just for something to watch? I guess. Again, if you didn't have ESPN, then that would be nice to have some sports on at night, I guess. If your dad's had a few beers and he doesn't want to watch Miss Ohio pageant, he wants to watch some sports. Yeah, and as you can see, TV essentially went off the air. Maybe one channel stayed on all night. So go off the air about 1 and come on again at 6 a.m. There's another staple of the old TV guides that I did not know about until I started going through these. We've got a full roster of the NBA Jazz and Celtics from 1978 printed in the TV guide. Looks like we got the Lakers roster over here too, but not the Golden State Warriors. I guess they didn't rate back then. Obviously in 78, I think you had some big stars on the Celtics. Might have been right before Larry Bird went into the league. Checking out what this women's superstars thing is. Speed skating heads the field of superstars women's final. Track star, billiards champion. The total purse of 122 grand. Giving you guys things to look up online. Report back to me. Again, the ads make this fun and interesting. So we've got Project UFO. William Jordan, Casey Swaim. I don't recognize those names. And then we got a Walt Disney movie, live action, with Suzanne Pleshette. The Ugly Dachshund. That sounds fun. It looks cute. Sunday night would be the Disney night. Usually called like Wild World of Disney or something or other. We might see it. Look at this full page ad for this guy. James Arness from Gunsmoke. Looking as rugged as he can be. Brooks Lighters in it. Lloyd Bridges. Brian Keith is great. Tim Matheson, a lot of good stars in here, mostly dudes, but what can you do? It's a Western. Yeah, World of Disney. Here we go. Hardy Boys, Nancy Drew. That was my show. When you're a kid, that was as good as it gets. We all love Nancy Drew. We had to sit through the Hardy Boys. Yeah, I definitely remember that from the 70s. That was fun. Here's a Project UFO thing. 3-part Pioneer Saga with the lady from Bewitched. That's kind of fun. And Jane Seymour. That's a great 1-2 punch. See, you can watch James Arness and a bunch of dudes, or you can watch Jane Seymour and Elizabeth Montgomery. I know which one I would choose. Here's some more smokes. Okay, so that's the Hardy Boys thing. No, that's Project UFO. All right. On Our Own Comedy. That does not ring a bell for me. Awakening Land. Alice is coming on at 9:30. That was a fun show. Carol Burnett. Lots of variety shows in the 70s. We'll probably see more. Love American Style. Who remembers that? That was a fun show. Kind of a skit show where they'd have several little vignettes in an hour, I think. Fun show. Probably some good guest stars on there. Have not seen it since the late 70s, early 80s. So it's a shame that wasn't like syndicated and more people didn't get a chance to see it because it was fun. Okay, Monday morning in 78. Got Bullwinkle coming on. Got some children's show called Schoolies. Getting you ready for school by watching some Schoolies. Bozo's Big Top. I'll say this, they had some funny titles, if nothing else. And again, some of these have been regional. Most of them are probably national, so who knows what Schoolies is. It's another one to Google. And then during the day, you'd have reruns of pretty good shows from like the early 70s or whatever. So you got Andy Griffith, you got Emergency, you got Sanford and Son for some laughs. Hollywood Squares, we got Valerie Bertinelli, David Brenner, Richard Mulligan, Joan Rivers. All right. Anything else on during the day here that's worth looking for? Ryan's Hope was one of those soaps that did not last forever like some of these did, like Days of Our Lives and so forth. And then afternoon, when the kids get home from school, they might be able to watch Popeye or Primetime Senior Citizens or Mr. Cartoon. Who knows what that is? Be great if they had a few more ads to show us what some of these things are, but that's what Google's for, I guess. Yeah, when you see, if you are looking at this in detail and you see like Brady Bunch coming on twice, that's because they'd be different markets. So this TV guide serves several different markets. So this might be Ohio, this might be West Virginia. And you would know if you live wherever you lived, you know you had Channel 8, but you didn't have Channel 10 or whatever. So you would skim through these things pretty quickly and know what you were looking for if you lived back then. All right, Monday night, what's coming on? Here we go, more great ads. Muppet Show's coming on with Julie Andrews. How great is that? I never saw that episode, but I bet it's fun. It's like Dick Van Dyke is doing something here. The People's Choice Awards. And that's funny, whoever had this TV guide checked the ones that they would have chosen. And we'll look at a couple of these because these are fun. And again, they're a snapshot at a time. So favorite movie actress, Sally Field, Diane Keaton, Barbara Streisand. Favorite motion picture, Rocky, Smokey and the Bandit, or Star Wars. That's a tough choice right there. And I'm not sure where they got these categories from because Rocky was 76, Star Wars was 77, but hey, what can you do? Yeah, this is fun. Favorite show, Family, Little House, or The Waltons. What's going on over here? Wild and Woolly. What are these gals doing? It's like a Monday night movie. Susan Bigelow, Alicia Davalos, and Chrissy. So I don't really recognize the names off the top of my head. But it looks kind of fun. Little House is coming on Monday nights. But it's going up against $6 Million Man. That's a tough choice right there. That's a tough choice. The boys are probably voting for $6 Million Man in the house. Some show called Turnabout News Magazine. That sounds super boring. Looks like MASH was coming on. In Awakening Land. Yeah, that's that Jane Seymour thing. Guess it was called Awakening Land. And then Wild and Woolly is this thing. It's pretty tough because those are similar kind of deals. Or The People's Choice. Some show called Shades of Green. It's funny how we remember the big, Charlie's Angels, so forth, but Shades of Green. Some of these we may not remember at all. Tuesday is going to be similar to Monday, so I don't linger too long on each day here, except for the prime time. Yeah, look at these great ads. So there's that Awakening Land again. What do we got here? Look at ABC. They're crushing the game. Happy Days, Laverne and Shirley, Three's Company, Soap. People like that Soap show. And then Family. I like the Family show because it had Christy McNichol. That's all you need to say. So can the girls save Squiggy's job? That's what's going on with Laverne and Shirley. On Family, they're talking about, will Nancy remarry her ex-husband? ... and have his baby. Let's see what else is on though, because that's all ABC. It's like CBS has got this show, A Question of Guilt. Celebrity Challenge of the Sexes. Those are fun if they had the ad. Otherwise, it's kind of hard to picture that. Or you can watch a Star Trek rerun. Yeah, the other fun thing about the TV guides back then is you could read a little synopsis, you could see who the guest stars were, so they gave you a little bit of information to go on if you were planning your evening around the television, which you may not have been doing. You might just grab it and scan it and see what's coming on. All right. Funny Farm. Again, these are a lot of shows we know and love, but they would be, in reruns at this point. So things like Bewitched and Brady Bunch. I saw Grape Ape. That was a fun. That was one of the Hanna-Barbera ones that I liked more than the others. Something about Grape Ape was just fun. You can sip the fat away. Yeah, look at these ads. How great are these? Grizzly Adams. What a great show. What a great family show. I've said it before. Either he's getting in trouble and the bear's getting him out of trouble, or the other way around. The bear's getting in trouble and Grizzly Adams got to save the bear. There's a lot more to it. It was a great show. So we got 8 is Enough. I was never into that, but I think it was a pretty popular show. Charlie's Angels. Everybody loves that show. And then you got Starsky and Hutch. Pretty good lineup on ABC. ABC seems to be having the best lineups from what we can see here. There you go. If you didn't get enough Cheryl ad on Charlie's Angels, send in your $2.50 and get a Cheryl ad poster, or buy 2 of them if you want. Grizzly Adams. Yeah, Denver Pile. I think Uncle Jesse was a regular on Grizzly Adams and kind of a good little sidekick. Because, it can't just be the bear and the guy all the time. Denver Pile was like the third person, I think. This looks super wacky. Mary Tyler Moore, How to Survive the 70s. The variety shows were kind of crazy, but people watched them. Black Sheep Squadron, that rings a bell. Just seen who's on there. Robert Conrad, yeah. Charlie's Angels. Policewoman with Angie Dickinson was big in the 70s. Might have been somewhat of a breakthrough show with her being like a female detective and kind of the showrunner. Veronica Hamill's guest starring on Starsky and Hutch. And then there's that crazy Mary Tyler Moore thing we just saw the ad for. There's that Mr. Cartoon again. I'm curious what that is. Wonder if it's a guy or if it's cartoons or what. I'm very curious. Yeah, look at ABC, man. They're really they're killing it. So ABC, another full page ad, which is great. Welcome back, Cotter. Horseshack's in love with Mrs. Cotter. Fish was a spinoff of Barney Miller, I think. Then you got Barney Miller. Then you got Carter Country with the dude from Little House. Wonder if he was the star of that. Then you got Beretta, starring that crazy dude who might have done some crazy stuff in his when in the 90s or whenever that was. Look at this Snoopy ad. Brand new Peanuts special in 78. What a Nightmare, Charlie Brown. I will say a couple of, we know the great Charlie Brown ones, like, the Christmas one, the Great Pumpkin. Some of these little hour-long ones are pretty weird. So if you look this up and it turns out to be pretty lousy, I kind of warned you. All right, we got Chips coming on. I mean, we're dead in the middle of the 70s here. We got all the 70s show. We got Welcome Back, Kotter. We got Chips. I'm always scanning for the DS stars because it's fun to see some stars get their start. A Connecticut Rabbit. So it looks like maybe they're showing Snoopy and then this Bugs Bunny thing, which looks fun. How great is this over here, the Grammys? Class of 65. Drama. Richard Hatch, Rosanna Arquette. Yeah, looks like the Grammys are coming on February of 78. And yeah, looks like they got a couple close-ups. This is a pretty fun ad here. 78, I mean, so many great musical acts back then. John Denver, Debbie Boone, Sean Cassidy, okay, Natalie Cole, Crosby, Stills, and Nash, Steve Martin, Ronnie Millsap, Olivia Newton-John, Paul Williams. I bet you could find this on YouTube. I bet you if you punched in Grammys 1978, they might have the whole broadcast and all those great acts. Yeah, there's the Snoopy thing, which looks fun, but it may or may not be. And there's more on the Grammys. Let's see what some of the things up for. So, Record of the Year, Blue by You by Linda Ronstadt, Don't Make My Brown Eyes Blue by Crystal Gayle, Hotel California, Love Theme from the Star Is Born, and You Light Up My Life by Debbie Boone. That's pretty strong. Star Wars was up for Album of the Year. That's funny. And I don't know who won. Alright, getting into Friday night already. Okay, we went through this one. I guess I kind of lost track. So we're already at Friday night. Pop Goes the Country. Check out this bread ad. This is bread before the modern bread. The modern bread will sit on your counter and never get moldy. God knows what they're putting in it now. This was like real bread back then. Now we got like 3D printed bread or something. I don't know what they're doing. Okay, look at these crazy ads for, again, ABC's really, I don't know, they're really putting it out. Got Barry Manilow on. It's like an hour special or something. And then we got Dr. Scorpion, which looks pretty nuts. World Television Premiere. So maybe this is a movie. So we got a comedy called Quark. Another robot-themed thing. Lots of names there. I'm trying to scan it to see if we know. There's that Barry Manilow special. The Odd Couple, that was a fun show. Wonder Woman, there we go. Probably going to watch Wonder Woman and not Quark. Rockford Files coming on at 9. Check out Johnny Cash. That's awesome. Thaddeus Rose and Eddie movie premiere. Oh, that's interesting. Never heard of that. Lovin' and Brawlin' Country Style. I bet that's good, especially smack dab in the 70s. Johnny Cash, come on. All right. Got that Dr. Scorpion movie. This looks pretty bizarro. Yeah, that's about it. All right, what else we got here in the back? Join the army. Got a guy drinking some Puerto Rican rum. Got his lady by his side. He's loving life, man. Kate saying she's not the difficult one. I wonder who is then if she's not. Is it Cheryl Ladd? Some more smokes, 120s. Spark plugs. Wouldn't be a TV guy without a spark plug ad. If you've seen my other episodes, you've seen at least 4 or 5 spark plug ads. Kent Golden Lights. Look at these serious newsmen. They're going to tell us the truth, aren't they? Sure they are. This guy, I don't know what his deal is. And on the back cover, Marlboro Man. All right, see you all next time.